Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the physics class. This is units and dimensions, lecture number 6 that we are dealing with. Well, just to give you a recap of what we had done in the previous class, we were discussing the uses or advantages of units and dimension, and we had seen that we can find the dimensions of a unknown physical quantity. Anything unknown given in an equation can be easily found out using the concept of dimension analysis. We had just solved a couple of questions as well. In those questions, we had seen how do we apply the concept of whatever we have learned. We had seen how to apply them and see how we can solve questions based on this. Do we remember this? Can I have some raise hand that we remember this?
Yeah,
Remember this, everyone? How we had used the different concepts that we have learned and how we had applied those concepts in solving questions. Just to give you a quick recap, because that is all that we need to do in this class. Let us start with a question, and I hope that everyone would be able to answer this one. Remember, we just need to apply what we had learned in the previous class. I'd given you some important points. To remember those points, you should be able to solve this question. These are the type of question that appear in JEE Main, NEET, or JEE Advanced. And as I told you, there was a question on JEE Advanced on this topic. We'll be discussing that. Remember, one question will always come from this particular topic, and which will be the easiest one in the entire paper probably. This is the question that I have put. This question has come previously in JEE. The question is simple. Find the dimensions of alpha. Do you see alpha? Alpha is the Greek alphabet. The yellow one is alpha. And beta, the green one is beta. You have to find the dimensions of alpha and beta. But you should know something else. You know the dimensions, or you know what quantities are the other quantities. What is F? Can anyone tell me? What would be F? Guess. I'm asking you to guess, because F can be anything. What would be F here? No one knows? Okay. F here is going to be force. V here is going to be velocity. And T here is going to be time. F is force, V is velocity, and T is time. Having said that, knowing that these are the physical quantities that are known, the only two unknown quantities are in yellow and green. Can you tell me what are the dimensions of alpha and beta? Remember, you don't have to apply any new thing. You just need to apply what we have learned in the previous class. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Can I have some raise hand that we understand the question and we know how to solve it? Okay, I'll give you time to solve it. And I hope,
sir.
yes, beta.
Alpha m power 1 t power minus 1.
M ki power 1, T ki power minus 1, that is alpha. Okay, what about beta? Beta is the
T,
easier one to get.
t
Yes.
power minus 1.
Beta is T to the power minus 1. That is absolutely correct. Your answer in alpha maybe wrong. Can you try again for alpha? Beta is absolutely correct. Don't worry, we are going to solve it. I'll give you minutes to everyone, time for everyone to attempt this question. I'll wait. Remember, we just need to apply simple things that we have learned, and we'll have to remember those simple things and use them patiently. And I'll wait patiently for everyone to try this question before I attempt any sort of an answer. I'll give you enough time, don't worry. Time right now is not the factor because I know that one question is definitely going to come from this topic.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
alpha is equals to ml minus 1.
Yes, now it is correct. See, with time comes wisdom, and there are some things that can be learned with time, and it cannot be learned anyhow else. Good. Alpha is definitely ML minus 1. Has everyone tried the question and got the answer? The answers are there. Alpha is ML minus 1 and beta is 1 by t or t raised to the power minus 1. Shall I solve this? Yes or no? Now,
Sir,
let me first write alpha is equal to f by v square sine of beta t. Now you must remember what we have learned. Now what we have learned is whatever is inside this bracket, what will be the dimension of this entire thing? We have already discussed this, right?
no dimension.
It will have no dimension. I will just put a cross. It will not have any dimension. But let us talk about the blue part also. What about the blue part? What about the blue part? Will it have any dimension? The blue part. The pink part, the entire thing does not have a dimension. Yes. What about the blue part, beta? Will it have any dimension? No one? Blue part is something which is inside sine, and something inside sine has to be an angle. An angle has no dimension because angle is a physical quantity, the only physical quantity which has a unit, but it does not have a dimension. Do we understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everyone understands it? Now, this blue quantity does not have any dimension. From there, we can find out the dimension of beta. Yes or no? Then I can write this beta into t should be dimensionless. No dimension. That means beta should have dimension opposite to that of time. So beta will have dimension of 1 by t. I am talking about dimension. T stands for time. So beta would have dimension of t raised to the power of minus 1. This is the answer to the green puzzle. What is the dimension? Remember, I am not talking about the value of beta. I can't calculate the value of beta, but I can find out the dimension of beta. Do we all understand this? Yes or no?
Yes,
Can I
sir.
raise hands from everyone in the class, a bigger class? Anyone has any doubt? Okay. Now, so far, so good. Let us talk about this yellow thing now. Now, this pink thing did not have any dimension. So, the dimension of alpha, which is the yellow thing, should be coming from this dimension only. Yes or no? The dimension of alpha will come from f by v square because the pink part does not have any dimension. Do we understand this? If we understand this, we can easily get the dimensions of alpha. How will I get the dimensions of alpha? The dimensions of alpha would be simply the dimension of f. What is the dimension of f? M L T minus 2 divided by the dimension of v square.
L square t by minus 2.
So the dimension of V is LT minus 1, and this is squared. So this will be the dimension of alpha, because dimension of alpha has to come from this equation. The pink part does not have any dimension, so the dimension has to come from the yellow part. Yellow part, we know all the quantities, and now we can simply solve it and get the dimension of alpha, and we will get it as ml minus 1. T will cancel out, so this is the answer to the yellow puzzle. The dimensions of alpha are ml minus 1. Do we understand this? Yes or no? How many of you were able to do this? Can I have raised hands? Wow, so many students. Well done, my dear friends. That means we are on the right track. I'll give you a 15 seconds time slot to note whatever is there on the board right now in front of your eyes, and then we shall move on to the next question. And I hope that you would be able to solve this one. Remember, any of these questions may appear in your exam. If you have any doubt, you can ask us in this time. Anyone having any doubt? No one seems to have any doubt. Then it's our duty to move on to the next problem. And here it comes. Alpha again, alpha. Alpha is fv square by beta square log to the base of e, Euler's number, we call it natural log, 2 pi beta by v square. What we know are this: f is force and v is velocity. You have to find out the dimensions of alpha and beta. The time starts now. The clock is ticking. Can you tell me, beta, what are the dimensions of the yellow gentleman, which is alpha, and the green one? Green color is for Hulk. The green Hulk and the yellow Hulk. My son says that there is also a red Hulk. I don't know. I have never seen him. The yellow one and the green one. And I wait. Give you time to solve it. If you can solve this, more than enough. I'll give you sufficient time to do it. Don't worry. It is important that we understand each and every question. Even if we don't get the right answer, I am not so much worried about an answer. Eventually, you will get the right answer. I'm more worried about whether you are trying or not, whether you understand what has to be done and how it has to be done. That is more important. Yes, anyone with an answer to this one? Simple puzzle. I'll wait.
Sir, alpha mlt minus 2.
Yes, beta. Alpha
Sir,
is,
mlt minus 2.
that's alpha or beta?
Alpha.
No. Something missing. Again, remember, do simple things correctly, my dear friends. You just need to do simple things correctly. And if you can do that, my dear friends, voila, you have achieved the desired result. I'll give you 1 more minute. I want all of you to do this on your own without any help. That is my entire concern. My entire concern is that you try. Try. Because when you try, you understand what mistakes you are going to make. If you don't try and you only note down the solution given on the board, you will never realize what mistakes you are going to make. And that would be a big, big problem. Because then you are going to make mistakes in the examination hall. And those mistakes are going to reflect in the marks
Sir,
that. Yes, beta.
beta L2 T minus 2.
That is absolutely correct. Beta is L2T minus 2. Absolutely correct. No problems with this one. Once you get the value of beta, then only you can get the value of alpha, my dear friend. Someone gave me the answer of alpha without giving me the answer of beta. That is not possible, beta. Because alpha depends on beta in this case. In the previous case, it was not, and that is why I've given this question. There is a reason why I give you each and every question. My each and every question is measured, and they come in a very particular order, and that
Sir,
order is important. Yes, beta.
ML minus 1. Alpha.
That is correct. ML minus 1 is alpha. That is correct. So it is coming same as what was the answer in the previous case. Well done. Still, I'll give you 15 seconds. Please raise hands of all those people who have got the answer. The answers are alpha is ML minus 1 and beta is L square T minus 2. I can see a lot of raised hand. That is a great sign. The smaller class doesn't seem to have solved anyone. That's not good. No one from the smaller class could solve it. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would take your help. Whosoever has solved this, can you help me in finding out how to solve this? Who is going to help me out? Tell me. Alpha is f v square by beta square log to the base of e. Who is going to help me? Please come forward. Helping each other is the way to understand things and go forward. Okay. Who is going to help me in solving this one? No one? Sad. No one is coming forward? Okay. No one comes forward. You will have to do things by your own hand. So I'm helpless and I have to solve it with my own hand. So what I'm going to do is understand what is the dimension of this quantity which is there in the bracket, which is a mathematical expression. What is the dimension of this quantity?
No dimension, sir.
It should not have any dimension because this is just a mathematical expression. Now let us talk about this blue thing entirely, this blue bracket which is there, this blue bracket. What about the dimension of this blue bracket?
No dimension, sir.
It also should not have any dimension. Then that straight away gives me the answer for the first part. That means 2 pi beta by v square. That has to be a number. So it will have no dimension. So m will be 0, L will be 0, T would be 0. You can write it like this. Now again, think about this pink thing, 2 pi. What will be the dimension of this 2 pi?
No dimensions.
No dimension, beta, because this is just a number. So 2 pi goes away. So I get simply, it's very simple. What would be the dimension of beta? So v square will simply go here, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So my dimension of beta, my dear friends, will be simply as v square. Remember, I am not talking about the values. I am only talking about the dimension. Therefore, I should write it very correctly as in square brackets. Do we understand this? Remember, the value of beta is not equal to v square. It is only the dimension of beta which is equal to v square. So I should always write it in this bracket. This bracket signifies that we are only talking about the dimension. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Then we get the dimension of beta. The dimension of beta would be simply equal to v square ka dimension. So it is L square t minus 2. And that is my first answer, the answer to the green question. I hope everyone has understood this. Once you get the value of beta, which we have got, we can move further in life because life has to move forward. Then I should understand that how will I get the dimension of alpha? And the answer is straight away. From this yellow bracket, I should be able to get the dimension of alpha. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes,
Because
sir.
the other thing is just a number. It does not give me any dimension. So the yellow quantity alpha has to come from the yellow bracket. And that's it. As simple as this, I can just put it here. So I can just write the dimension of alpha. So better to write it like this. The dimension of alpha will be equal to what is the dimension of for force? It is m l t minus 2 multiplied by the dimension of v square. Again v square comes into the picture. L square t minus 2 tongue tongue divided by beta squared. So it will be L raised to the power 4 t raised to the power of minus 4. If you have made a mistake here, well, your answer would definitely come wrong. This is very easy to solve and you shall get the dimension of alpha, and the dimension of alpha that you shall get would be m L minus 1. Yes or no? Did you get the answer here? The dimension of alpha are m L minus 1, and this is how this question has to be done. Very correctly, very simply, using what we have already learned. Can I have raised hands from everyone who could have solved this question and gotten the answer? You may not have gotten the right answer. That is not my concern right now. Do you understand? Have you done the same steps correctly? Yes or no? That is the only important concern to me right now, that you do the correct steps. Eventually, the answers are going to come. And now I will ask you one more question, and this is the question that has come in many exams in JEE Main many times. It came actually in JEE Advanced some years back. In 90s it came. I don't remember the year. I think it was 1998 or something like that. It came in that year, and then it came in various exams. So now comes the question. I hope everyone has noted down the previous one. And I move on to the next one. That will be the last one for this particular sort of set, because I think we have covered everything in this set. Comes this question. The potential energy of a particle varies with distance. So x is distance from a fixed origin as u means potential energy, a root over x divided by x square plus b, where a and b are constants. Obviously, we understand it's a constant. Find the dimensional formula of AB. So remember, this is how questions are framed. They may not ask you the dimension of A and B separately. They might ask you multiplication, division, subtraction, whatever. Subtraction, no point. And I wait for your answers for this one. And then I will give you one question for homework. from a previous year JEE, the only problem you might face is you might not have known the values, the physical quantities that are there, and that is why we are not solving it is in the class. But I'm giving you as an homework so that you find out what those quantities are first. Then you find out what dimensions those quantities have, and then you get the actual answer. So I leave that as an exercise for you. But right now, right now, this is the question. And I wait for your answers, my dear friends. And I give you time, don't worry. Time right now is on our side. If we do the questions correctly, when I say correctly, I mean we apply the right approach. That is the only thing when I say solving the question correctly means. Solving the question correctly only means this one right now. Yes, my dear friends, do I have answers here for this question? It's a simple one. All questions are simple. That is the first thing that you must understand. I hope all of you are trying. Shall I solve this for you? No one could do this? No one with an answer? That would not be correct. I mean, chalo. I should then solve this. How are we going to go about this? First, I'm going to look at the green thing. Now, green thing in the denominator is x square plus b. Now, we must remember that only similar quantities can be added or subtracted. Do we remember this? Yes or no? That means x square, whatever that quantity is, and b, they must have same dimension. X square, the dimension of x square, that's why I'm writing it as bracket. The dimension of x square must be same as the dimension of b. Yes or no? That will directly give me the dimension of b. The dimension of b is x square, and as you can see, x is distance. X is distance. So I get the dimension of beta. The dimension of beta would be L squared, because the dimension of x, because the dimension of x is for distance. So that is the answer to the green part. Beta ka dimension will be L square. Do we understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Okay. Now we must look at the next part. Now we must look at what I have here. U, which is energy, will be equal to A into root x divided by x square plus b. We already know that U, the yellow one, is energy. So we know the dimension of energy. What is the dimension of U, beta? Tell me.
ml square t power minus 2.
ml square t raised to the power minus 2. That is absolutely correct. Now, whatever is in the denominator is the green thing. We already know this dimension of this green thing. Yes or no? What is the dimension of this green thing? It may be plus, it may be minus, doesn't matter. We are talking about dimension. What is
L
the dimension?
square.
L square, right? So this is the dimension of this green thing. Let us talk about the dimension of this blue thing. What is the dimension of this blue thing? I will just write it here. What is the dimension of this blue thing? It is root over x. X is distance. So the dimension of this thing would be, my dear friends, L raised to the power half. Yes or no, beta? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's it. So now I can get the dimension of A, cross multiplication, nothing else. So I can write the dimension of A as dimension of U multiplied by the dimension of L square divided by the dimension of L, divided by the dimension of L raised to the power of 1 by 2. Yes or no, bit, my dear friend? So I just put the values m L square t minus 2. This has to be multiplied by L square. So it becomes m L raised to the power 4, and you divide it by L raised to the power half. This is a simple mathematical calculations that will give you the answer. And my dear friends, may I ask you, what is the answer?
B.
How B? I am quite disappointed. How did you get B? I will
B,
leave
sir.
that to you, because I am not going to solve it from here. Because if I do everything for you, you will never understand simple maths. So m and t minus 2 does not have a problem. You will easily get it. It is L square into L square divided by L raised to the power half. I know that you are good enough to solve this, and you will get the value of what is the coefficient of L. What will be the answer, my dear friends? Again, I'll give you one more chance.
Option B, Bombay, sir. I think.
Anyone?
ml 11 by 2 t power minus 2.
ML 11 by 2 t raised to the power minus 2. How did you get this?
Sir, from this equation we will get A, sir, and above we got B.
Great. Oh, I have done a mistake here. It is, yes, B I know, and M you can get. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Have I done anything wrong here? Have I done anything wrong? No, I think I have done everything correctly. Yes or no?
Sir, but in question he asked dimension formula of A and B, na sir.
Yes. In the question, they've asked the dimension formula in A and B, and I was looking for the dimension formula of A. Sorry, big mistake. So, dimension of A is m l raised to the power 7 by 2 into t minus 2. Then you multiply it by B. That is correct. I'm sorry, extremely sorry. I thought that I am doing something wrong. I messed up the entire thing. So the dimensions of A will be, I was actually asking you the dimension of A and you gave me the dimension of A and B, and that is why I got confused. So dimension of A you can get from here, m l raised to the power 7 by 2 t minus 2. Then you multiply it by the dimension of B, which is L square. So it becomes L raised to the power 7 by 2. My mistake. I did not look at the question. That in the question it was asked the dimension of A into B. My bad luck. Genuine mistake from my side. Do we understand this? I was looking at this answer. Tell you very frankly, I was looking at answer A. A is the dimension of quantity A, but the question was find out the dimension of A, B, and that is why I was confused. Do we understand this? That if you don't read the question carefully, you will commit a mistake, the one like the one that I have done. I was looking for the dimension of A. The dimension of A was also there in the question, so I just marked it. I just thought that is the answer. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Everyone in the class, I'll give you a minute to note this down and do not do the mistake that I have done genuinely. That I was looking for the answer of A and the question was find out the dimension of AB. I'll give you a minute to note this down and then I will give you a question for homework. Then I'll give you a question for homework.
Sir, wait, sir.
Yes, I'm waiting. Don't worry. Right now I have time. We may not have time 2 years or 3 years down the line. Right now we do have. So we shall utilize the best of the time that we are having. Shall we move ahead, beta?
Sir.
Okay. Then I present to you this question. IIT-JEE 1999 as homework. Find out the dimension of half. Oops, wrong color. Find the dimension of 1 by 2 half epsilon naught E square. The only reason we are not doing this question is because we don't know what these terms are. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. You will learn about this in standard 12th. And E is the electric field. So this is a task for you to first find out what is epsilon naught and the dimension of epsilon naught, and then the dimension of E. And you just have to tell me in this question what is the dimension of half epsilon naught E square. So just write the question, dimension of half epsilon naught E square. You may not note down the option because that is irrelevant. Noting down the option is irrelevant, does not make any difference, any sense. You just note down the question. The question basically is what is the dimension of this particular quantity which I have highlighted in yellow. That is the only question that needs answer. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. That is the only question that matters right now. Shall we move ahead? So it's a task for you to find out what is epsilon, is permittivity, find out the dimension, find out the electric field, find out the dimension. Get your answer, stay happy. Shall we move ahead to the next point? And the next use of dimensional analysis, we have seen the first use. The first use was to convert from one unit to the other unit, from MKS to CGS, ting, ting, ting. The second one was to find the dimension of unknown quantities. And the third one is to check the correctness of an equation. To check the correctness of an equation. If you are given an equation, you can check the correctness of the equation using dimensional analysis. And we will try to understand the different cases. Case number A, remember, and we'll do it case by case. What I do is I break, as I told you, probably any complex question is made up of simple questions put together. So the only way and the best way and the easiest way to solve a complicated question is to break it into simple steps. So this statement, how we are going to understand it, is I'm going to break it up into simple things so that the point becomes clear in your head. To check the correctness of an equation. Now, I'll tell you how we do this. If an equation is correct, so basically what I'm saying is, if you have a correct equation, if you have equation which is correct, dimensionally also it will be correct. Dimensionally also that equation will be correct. So for a correct equation, the dimensions have to be correct. What I mean to say by this is, example, you must all know this equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Do you know the dimension? Do you know this equation? Yes or no, beta?
Yes, sir.
What is S here? What is S here?
Displacement.
S is displacement. That is correct. What is U?
Initial velocity.
Initial velocity, or simply let us call velocity, because right now we are dealing with dimensions, nothing else. What about T?
Time.
T is time. We all know this. And the last gentleman, A. What about A?
Acceleration.
A is acceleration. Now we all know that this is a correct equation. Is it dimensionally correct as well? Is it dimensionally correct as well? So how do you check whether this equation is dimensionally correct? This equation is correct, we know. Now if I check the dimension of this equation, what is the dimension on the left hand side?
L.
What is it? L. Now whatever is on the right hand side should also have the dimension of L. Yes or no?
Sir.
Now when I talk about this quantity has two quantities. One is U, which is LT minus 1 multiplied by T. Multiplied by T. So what dimension I will get from here? This T and this T will cancel. I will
L.
get the dimension of L. Are you getting my point, bacha? So this is L. Now let us look at this term. Half does not have any dimension. Forget about half. Acceleration has the dimension of, oops, what has happened here? Some
T minus 2.
some trouble has come. Okay. So LT minus 2 multiplied by T squared. Again, what will happen, my dear friends? You will again have L.
L.
L will be equal to L plus L. Do not think it as the values, think it as dimension. Are you getting my point, bacha? Yes or no? So,
Yes,
what
sir.
we understand here is if an equation is correct, dimensionally it also would be correct. Or if I say this in the reverse order, how will I say this in the reverse order? How will I say this in the reverse order? If an equation, and I will write it now, if an equation is dimensionally correct, and remember the language that I am using, it may be correct, and I have used the legendary term maybe. I'm not using definitely. I'm definitely not using definitely. I am just using maybe. Why maybe? We will get to know about this. Is this point clear to everyone, my dear friends? Yes or no? Okay, now let me go to case number B, and then probably this maybe will make more sense when I look at case number 2. Has everyone noted this down? Yes or no? Yes, sir. That takes me, sir, to point number B. Point number B. If an equation is wrong, wrong. If an equation is wrong, still it may be dimensionally correct. Oops. Oops. The equation is wrong, but dimensionally it can be correct. Eh? Does it make sense? Example. And I go back to the same example. S is equal to UT plus 3 by 2 AT square. And I ask you, my dear friends, Is this equation correct? Is this equation correct? Thumbs up stands for yes. Thumbs down stands for no. So tell me, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs down
Down.
is the democratic winner. Thumbs down democratically wins. This equation is wrong. Yes, it has to be plus half 80 square. It is plus half plus 3 by 2 80 square. But if I check the dimension of this, what will be the dimension of this, bacha?
L.
L equal to, what will be the dimension of this, bacha? We have already calculated it. L, yes or no? Plus, what will be the dimension of this? Remember, number do not have any dimension. Now, if I look at the dimension, dimensionally, this equation is still correct. Oops. But this is definitely not correct. So even if an equation is wrong, dimensionally, it may still be correct. Now I will write this in the reverse order. What is the reverse order? If an equation is dimensionally correct, it, again I use the same legendary term, it may be the green, may be the green Hulk. I love green Hulk. It may be wrong. Now I have two maybes. This, the green Hulk, maybe. Oops, I can't get both of these Hulk on the screen. And then there is the pink Hulk here. The pink Hulk here. Lady Hulk, she Hulk. She does not wear pink. She's also greenish. There's a series on Netflix these days. Netflix or something? She Hulk. The first pink one, if the equation is dimensionally correct, it may be correct. It may be correct. The second green Hulk, the original Hulk, it may be wrong. And this is the example for this. Do we understand this? Now, if I combine 1 with 2, I can write one statement combining 1 and 2. Can you tell me what that statement would be if I combine 1 and 2, the green Hulk and the pink Hulk? If I combine them, what do I get? Combined space statement. What will be the combined statement? And that is in a star. If an equation is dimensionally correct, it may be correct or it may be wrong also. Do we understand this entire box? Do we understand this entire box?
Yes, sir.
Green and pink mixes up. I don't know what color they will give, but for me it is yellow now. Let me mix green with pink and what color it gives me. Oh, it gives me this one. That's not good. My yellow is good. So, if an equation is dimensionally correct, it may be correct, it may be wrong. So that will not definitely give me any concrete way to tell whether the equation is correct or whether the equation is wrong, because it can be wrong, it can be right. So I get nothing. But if I look at the third statement, and the third statement is the statement that will give you a very, very concrete answer, whether the equation is wrong or whether the equation is right. What would be my third statement? My statement number A was, if equation is correct, it may be correct. If the equation is dimensionally correct, it may be correct. My second statement was, if the equation is dimensionally correct, it may be wrong. What would be my third statement? And that third statement is the statement that we are concerned about. What would be my third statement? What would be my third statement? Statement number C. If an equation, what? If an equation is dimensionally wrong, and I stress the word wrong, if the equation is dimensionally wrong, now can you tell me about the equation? If the equation is dimensionally wrong, then what? Then what? Then it is definitely, and I insist the word definitely again, then it is definitely right or wrong?
Wrong.
Then it is definitely wrong. A equation which is incorrect dimensionally, it cannot be correct. If it is correct dimensionally, it may be correct, it may be wrong, but if it is incorrect dimensionally, it is definitely wrong. Let us go back to the same example. If I write the equation like this, u plus half 80 or 80 square, sometimes you might make a mistake like this. Can this equation be correct? You definitely know that this equation is not correct. Why it is not correct? Because it is dimensionally, the dimension of this quantity does not match the dimension of L. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Let me write this equation. F is equal to m into v, where F is force, m is mass, and v is velocity. Can this equation be correct?
Yes,
No, it
sir.
cannot be, it cannot be correct, yes, because dimensions are not matching. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If I write F is mv square, can it be correct? No, it cannot be correct because dimension on left hand side and the dimension on right hand side are not matching. Do you understand this, bacha? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is the third statement in this point. The point was simply how we can use dimension analysis to find out if an equation is correct or if an equation is wrong. We cannot find out if the equation is correct because we will have some doubt, but we can definitely find out if the equation is wrong. Yes or no? Can I have raised hands from everyone that we have understood this point with examples? Yes or no? Well, then that brings us to an end of this class. I hope everyone has noted this down. We are still into units and dimensions, and we are trying to understand the uses of dimension analysis. Up till now, we have done three uses. The first one is to convert from one system to other. The second one was to find out the dimensions of unknown quantities. And the third one, we are right now in the middle of discussion. We have seen some examples. In the next class, we'll keep on continuing on the same point and we will move ahead and do the next 2 points. 1 or 2 points are left, and then we will be trying to wrap up this chapter by next or the next to next class. So I wish you all a very happy day and a good day, and I hope to see you in the next class. Take care. God bless you. Have a nice day. If you have any doubt, please come up. I'm always there. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
sir.